Awesome. Right.
Hello and welcome everyone. Coming back from setbacks, losses, and failures is ultimately one of the key deciding factors to your success. How big or how small, how easy it is for you to get there. It's all about how you handle setbacks, ultimately allowing you to progress further. So, in today's community call, we're going to be discussing coming back from setbacks. Keyword is coming back. A lot of setbacks allow people to fail. They give up. But that is the wrong use of setbacks. Setbacks are teaching you. When life gives you setbacks, you should view it as an opportunity to learn and to grow. And if you give up, if you let that failure, setback, whatever it may be, take a hold of you and dictate your day, your life, even your conquest of that chosen path, then ultimately it was for nothing. So we have five or so points to run through when it comes to handling setbacks. Without further ado, I will take the first one, and Ayrton will
Good.
jump in with the second one. Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, the first thing to do when you have a setback. Now, for most people, when they have a setback, it might be to crash out. It might be to lose the plot a bit, get very wrecked by the setback. Because we can understand this setback, yes, you may have put a lot of hard work into it, it may have been unexpected, and we can understand why someone might want to react like that. But the key thing to do is take it as it is. That's the first step you need to do is take whatever has happened to you as it is, not as if you would take it. So you want to view it as it is, not as you would take it. So the setback needs to be viewed objectively and logically. So if you're going to view it emotionally, you're going to justify why it happened. You're not going to get to the true, first of all, what actually happened, but you're also going to miss the lessons that this setback is teaching you. So you need to take it as it is. You need to ignore how it's made you feel. You need to ignore how how much effort it took you to get there. You have to focus on objectively in order to see the fruits of this unfortunate setback.
Yeah.
Got anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I have. So a good way you can think about this if you're struggling to kind of understand what this means is often when you're watching sports like commonly football, but Six Nations has just been on, so I'll talk about rugby. Um, they'll often say things like they can only beat the team in front of them. And usually they'll say this after maybe one of the hosts or people are starting to comment saying like, oh, what they beat like Ireland or France by 1 point. Why are they beating Wales by like 60 points? Like, surely they should be beating them just as good. It's like, no, they can only beat the team in front of them. You can only kind of conquer the setback that's in front of you. You shouldn't be taking it as in like, oh, I've been set back, but last time I got set back, I handled it really well and went amazing and I knew exactly what to do. This one's different. So it's objective. It's not relative to what's happened before, what you think should happen. You can only take the setback as it comes, like Tom's been saying. So they're all different, and each one has their own. A setback almost has its own personality. Like you just got to deal with the one in front of you. So
Absolutely. It's like
yeah,
a unique opportunity to learn. There's always
exactly.
something different, and this will link back towards the end. I have wrote all these points down, guys, which is why I
Yeah,
keep looking away.
and I've
But
got
the
them
thing
here.
it'll,
That's why I look.
yeah. So what it'll link back to at the end is to never repeat them, simples, and we'll oh, that's what I was gonna say. The reason you have to view them in a unique manner is if you're not repeating them, each one should teach you something new.
Yeah,
So that was my point. I thought I
yeah.
nearly lost it then. Up to you.
So yeah, on to point two. So learn from setbacks with scrutiny. Why? So you can learn as much as possible. So a good way to look at setbacks, the way I like to look at them is, seems we're talking about trading, let's talk about, for example, Bitcoin, which has had a huge push up and a push down and hopefully should push back up from now. What is the common term for this push down? A lot of people are calling it a correction. That's exactly how you need to be looking at your setbacks. And that's why you need to scrutinize them and analyze them. So, for example, with Bitcoin, it's dropped to this level. A lot of newbie Bitcoin traders are panicking. They're getting out. They're giving the market liquidity essentially. And this is exactly what it's doing, but it's coming down to a certain point. And from this certain point, we should expect a reaction. And that's exactly how it is with your setback. So, this drop off, we should be looking at it thinking, okay, what's gone wrong? Why is this happening? What does this want me to do in order to fail, and how do I not do that? So the failing is equivalent to the person like taking out their money because they got scared, not squared. Um, you need to analyze what to do next and what not to do. You need to scrutinize exactly your plan and how to move forward because at the end of the day, it's not punishing you or anything like that. It's correcting you. It's going, yes, there was a bit of bad luck, but here's what you did wrong. Here's how what you can learn from it. And if you do these things again, instead of a correction, it will just be a drop off. So use it as a correction, analyze what's happened to cause this drop off and where you're at in order to cause the reaction of the second part of the correction. So it's just like charts. Our lives are creating lower highs and higher highs and lower highs constantly. So we've just got to learn from each lower high.
Yeah, exactly. Each low and each high should really be teaching you something new, whether that's what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong.
Yeah,
And I just wanted to say the reason I chose the word scrutiny is you almost need to be, you need to not miss something unturned. You need to make sure you've looked at everything. And scrutiny, I chose that word because it implies you need to kind of just be straight to the point, be harsh, kind of actually tear into what happened. And in the pursuit of doing that and trying to be so brutally honest and scrutinize why this happened, you're not going to allow emotions to blur your judgment, blur and cover things that could have happened, or maybe things you could have learned from. It allows you to uncover everything, allows you to truly find as much information as possible. I mean,
yeah,
that's the end goal from these setbacks. So, in order to move on and take the most of them, that's what you have to do. You have to scrutinize them.
definitely.
So, so the next point, number three. Create and apply forward acting steps. So this can be rules or actions to take. So now that you've viewed it objectively, you've taken it as it is, not as you would have it. You've learned from the setback with scrutiny. So you've assessed the entire situation. So you've like, right, this happened, this happened, this happened. I've learned why it's happened. Now, following all your knowledge you've just gained is now taking that and applying it. And that is creating actionable, forward-thinking steps. So linking that to trading, let's say you, like myself, this last week, let's say you miss a very nice win on the Monday. So, for example, we didn't clock that the times changed over. So on that day, we arrived at the charts an hour later rather than an hour earlier. Therefore, we missed a win. Moving forward for that entire week, I should be bearing in mind that now I am down and my odds are messed up. In theory, I've missed out on a win, so I could have equally as many losses as I would have had, but that is still got to consider the drawdown beforehand, if that makes sense. So, moving forward, having learned that next time I miss out on a trade, which would have put me back an equity high, my drawdown would have been reset because equity highs, I know that I need to consider that factor. And I know that I should be more cautious with my trades. I should probably trade less. I should be taking a star setups to try just get a win, to try reset and get back to an equity high. Because until I do get to that point, in theory, my odds are they're broken, they're messed up, they're not where they should be. So the lesson learned is if you miss a trade in this circumstance, to take it easy, to maybe focus on more quality setups because otherwise you could get hit with a losing streak just like you would normally, but because you already had losses last week, which this win would have countered and got you out of, you're now in a bigger loss streak than what you should have been, therefore blowing your account. So I was only able to know that through reflection, and that's why you have to create these actionable steps to then know next time. So next time I miss a trade, which should have been a winner, and maybe I'm already a few losses down, and this winner would have got me out. I know now I'm going to act with more caution. I'm going to be more precise. I'm going to maybe miss a few trades just to wait for that quality one, which I'm super confident in, just to make sure I get back to that point. Because otherwise, you can then get caught in what could be a normal bad week, bad few trades, but those trades could kill you off because of that missing trade. Don't know if you have any other examples you'd like to give to maybe relate that to trading at all in
So
terms of actionable steps.
not really anything to add, but I think that perfectly continues my analogy of like it being a correction. So as I was saying, obviously it's gone up, everything's gone well, and here's where everything's gone wrong. This is your correction. We've gone back down. As I was saying in the previous step, you need to scrutinize what's happened, why it's happened. And now this step is saying, what do we do next? So, like I said before, the bad trader will sell us all his positions, and then when almost your projected where you should have been goes up, you've sold everything, so you're no longer part of it. But if you're coming back down on this correction, you're now creating your rules, you're thinking about your actionable steps and yeah, actions to take. You can now re-get in at this correction and be part of your upwards journey. So it's all part of that curve that we were talking about before. Um, the next step, did you want me to put that at the end and go to number five?
No, I reckon that is the next step, isn't it?
Awesome. Yeah.
Really, that's yeah.
So it is, as Tom said before, it's to never repeat them. So the key thing you want to be doing with mistakes is first of all, you want to be making them, not on purpose, but if you don't make mistakes, like what do you have to learn? How do you actually get better if there's nothing to fix? Like there's nothing to do then. Obviously, it'll be amazing if we were all just 100% A class traders right from the get go, but that's not how it
Pretty
goes. So,
boring.
yeah, so to become that, you have to have mistakes. But the thing with mistakes is you shouldn't be making them again. That should be the goal. The goal should be to have mistakes, but each time one happens, go, right, that's happened now. I'm not going to do that again. And if I see it happening again, hopefully I can catch it early and make a better move. But if it happens again, then first of all, you're in the bad books. Second of all, you need to redo this list and do it properly. You you must have done something wrong. You must have not properly gone over your steps to be making that mistake again. Like Tom said, if it's something like on Monday where we missed that Silver Bullet had gone back, we shouldn't be making that mistake again. We now know that happens. We now have it. We've spoke to GPT, spoke to Google, found out when it next happens again, and we know that it obviously moves back forward at the end of March, like March the 30th and into the next month. So we're not going to miss that. We're going to be alert, watching out for that to happen. And the same will happen next year and next time the clocks change later on this year. We'll be on it because we've made the mistake. Now it's time to learn from it and not let it affect us ever again. And if it does affect us again, that means we didn't seriously look over the mistake. It means we kind of glanced over it, went, yeah, that was a mistake, know what to do next time. But no, we've properly looked at what went wrong, why it went wrong, and how do we fix it. So that is exactly how you should be treating your mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on that. And a good way of thinking about it is think of all the times where you have made the same mistake twice. And that can be something as simple as stubbing your toe in the same corner of your house that you've lived in maybe for a while now. And you're like, did I not learn this last time? It hurts more because you've done it again.
Yeah,
So don't make the same mistake twice because obviously maybe it hurts more, but then you feel more stupid, you feel more silly. So again, that's another opportunity to have that setback and realize, hey, I didn't reflect. Maybe I should think about this corner of the house a bit more. That's how you have to look at it. You never want to make the same mistake again. And a way of looking at it is a master is someone who's failed more than you've tried. And the only reason they are a master is because they've failed, had many, many, many setbacks, and they've learned and got to where they are by conquering them every time. They would not be a master if they made all those mistakes, did not learn, did not create, and then did not set the goal of never repeating them, they would never have got to that master status. They would have stayed in this cycle of constant repetition. So don't make them again. Very simple. So number five, moving on, is be kind to yourself. So this is your first time walking this earth, so you have to remember that. And setbacks like this are natural. It's about taking them for what they are and being grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow. And you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep putting one step in front of the other because the sun comes up anyway, the moon will come up anyway, the wind is going to wind, the trees are going to blow. That life moves on, and you cannot allow these setbacks to take a hold of you. You cannot allow them to ruin you, and they cannot allow them to keep occurring as well. So you have to be kind to yourself and understand that life is all about losing, it's all about failures. And that's ultimately what makes you the strongest character. It will be the thing that gives you the most success. A guy with success and another guy with success. I should have said that in a different way. If you two people with success, right? And you have one who kind of just, I don't know, let's say he just started a business and he hit jackpot. First year, 100K sales and so on. And then maybe he stagnated and kind of got in that cycle of not maybe learning as much, and he kind of stayed in this gradual incline. Or you have a guy who maybe starts the same business and he spends 3 years about break even, making, average-ish months, not doing anything six figures. But then after the third year, he absolutely skyrockets. And it's now a continuous rocket of an edge. Because not only has he learned all the skills of how to run a business, how to balance cash flow in an effective way because he doesn't have a lot of it, he's now learned all the mistakes he would have had if he made it to six figures, and also knows now how to scale it. So if you look at it in that aspect, who are you going to view? Which businessman with more, who's achieved more success? The guy who kind of just got it and like got it easily. There wasn't many tribulations behind it, and he didn't really get tested a lot. He didn't have setbacks and failures. He kind of just got lucky, which is fine. He obviously has to take the the action to be lucky. Or would you view the other person who took the same action, did not get the luck, but then faced 3 years of setbacks, doubt, all the different things that come in that time? You're going to view the person who's had the tribulations, who's had the setbacks, because you know they've learned more. You know they've had a harder time. It's easy when you're winning to keep winning. It's only when you have setbacks that you're truly tested in what it is you're doing. So you have to view them as an opportunity to prove it to yourself, prove it to maybe those around you who support you, or maybe those who don't. Likewise, take every brick haters throw at you and build a castle with it, or a house. So setbacks are retracement, like Aaron said. They are where people panic, like in a bear, not even a bear market, a bull market, it'll tank. Everyone's pooping their pants. Well, what should you be doing? I'm viewing this as it is, not as I would have it. It's just gone up a lot. Hmm. Okay. This makes sense. It needs to go like double as much to be a bear market. This makes even more sense now. Maybe I shouldn't panic. Maybe I should sit in my hands and just think about this, and maybe I'll actually add to my position, or maybe you create an action. You'll learn and you'll create and you'll apply.
Yeah.
So be kind to yourself, guys, because it's easy to make mistakes. It's easy to have setbacks, and it is easy to repeat them. I will admit I've definitely repeated some mistakes in my time, as I'm sure we all have. But again, you are your own boss, especially in trading, and that's why you have to be kind to yourself. Because otherwise, I don't know. Imagine uh, a manager or a boss you had at one of your jobs, and they were very harsh on you. Maybe they were nagging you. Maybe they never seemed proud of you or forgave you for making mistakes. Maybe you were doing a job for the first time. They asked you to do something, and you didn't do it in the right way. And imagine if they were like, "What are you doing? You didn't do it right." Oh, da, da. And they were like that with you. You're gonna be like, dude, I've never done this before. Oh, like blah 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 blah. Then you're gonna be frustrated at them. Whereas if they're the opposite, they're like, oh, hey man, it's okay. Let me show you how it's done. We do it this way, this and this. You're gonna be like, oh, thanks. You're likely gonna learn more. So there's that. Now, if
Yeah.
you do a mistake again, then obviously they're gonna say something like that, most likely, which is kind of understandable. So two things: don't make the same mistake. Okay, welcome back. We had a little setback, some Wi-Fi issues there, hence the recording stopped. But we're back.
Error.
So yeah, a little technical error, technical issue. So thank you for bearing with us. If you want to remind yourself, go back 10 or 15 seconds and rewatch what we were saying. I know that error for you is only a matter of seconds, but for others, it's more. So what we were saying is be kind to yourself. Guys, you only live once, you only what this earth wants. And that's why I have to view setbacks in the least emotional way possible and take it on the chin. Be like, life's gonna give you lemons sometimes, but what can you do? There's many things you can do with a lemon. So before
Well,
you move on, if you got
what
anything
I
else
was
to add.
going to go back on was your point about the analogy about the businessmen, the two different businessmen. I think that's a great analogy that applies to trading a lot and why people aren't nice to themselves when they have setbacks. And it's because when all of us first see trading, hopefully we're trying not to be guilty of this. You often see a lot of people just posting their wins. And in fact, even when we try not to be guilty of it, I guarantee you, if we post what went wrong in a lesson versus, oh, this was a good day and here's a win, Instagram will just give that like 100 times the viewers. So sometimes it's not even the person you're watching, but actual social media in general's fault because it pushes down like your phone screen that you should be winning all the time. Trading's instant winning, you're winning constantly, nothing but just good stuff. But that's not the case because if you're listening to a real mentor, real people on Instagram, because there are some out there, they're not all scammers, then they will tell you that like most of the journey is losses and lessons. Like you're just learning, losing, learning, losing until you kind of get break even. You keep losing, but you're winning the same amount. And then you start ironing out all those mistakes and then you keep going up. But even in that upwards, there's corrections and there's things that go wrong. So you really need to take yourself out of that social media bubble of just constant winning and constant just success in training because that's not how it goes. There's no business really that operates like that. And trading is a business. That's what you got to remember. Like when you lose trades, when you lose funded accounts, you're essentially doing what other businesses do. Like let's think of a clothing company. What do? They start their clothing company. Maybe they get some pre-orders in, so they got some money in the bank. Then they have to order a lot of clothes if they want to be a big brand. And what happens then? Their money went up, and then it went down again, and then it should go up again. And then next time they do orders, it will go down again, but it will go back into what they've just made. So that is the process of trading. You're doing your first investments, then they'll probably go wrong because that's when you're meant to be learning. Then after a few more of those, you'll start to go up, and then you'll have another correction into that, and you'll learn even more. And after that, you'll go up again. So it's about being nice to yourself, not listening to what like other people. I was going to start name dropping them, but I'll keep it civil. Are telling you is trading success. So point number six, and the last point, is pretty simple, and it's just don't give up. In trading, in anything, in gym, in entrepreneurship, you only fail when you give up. Other than that, you're just learning. You're just keeping going. The only way you fail is by stopping. And that's as simple as it gets.
Absolutely. So make the setbacks, not intentionally. Make the mistakes, get set back, not intentionally. Then learn from it. Then create and apply forward acting steps, rules, etc. And then never repeat them. And once you've done those things, once you've agreed to never repeat them and the ones before, be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself. Hey, we all make mistakes, you and I. So in that understanding, it gives you some peace and it'll actually allow you to be more likely to never make it again. And maybe even save you a few mistakes. Because what you will notice that in a lot of setbacks as well, you might even clock that there were even little things you didn't directly have a result on. You might find coulda, wouldas, or ifs, buts, and maybes. They necessarily that it wasn't your fault. There was nothing to do with you, but you still learn things that might be nothing to do with you. And you also can't take blame for them. So another reason why you need to be kind to yourself, because it's also easy to just take the whole thing, whole blame. When also sometimes things do just happen. You know, uh, supplier might pull out. The market might just give you a bad run. That's it. You can't blame yourself for those things, but you can blame yourself for what you can.
Yeah.
And like I said, don't give up. So pretty simple. Setbacks, failures, they are not final nor fatal. They are just a part of it, and you have to accept that no matter what you want to achieve in life. In the gym, you're going to get injured. In business, you're going to have losses. You're going to have struggle.
Yeah.
Relationships, you're going to have struggle. You can have arguments. In your health and day-to-day life, you're going to have illnesses. I could go on. I could
Yeah.
go on. There's always going to be things that are going to occur, and you just have to view them as like, okay, this has occurred. Hmm. Well, to be fair, yeah, I did leave this food out on the side for a few days. That makes sense why it's gone moldy early. Done. View objectively. Okay. So
I actually
there's
have
nothing
a really
else you
good
think.
like stat
Go
that's
on.
just came to my mind. Sorry, I think I cut you off. I didn't mean to.
No, go
Think
for it. Go for it.
but like another reason that you should not be taking um these failures as big as you might think they are is a stat that I constantly remind myself, and that is the human brain scientifically responds the same, as in it releases the same amount and the same type of chemicals to 99% chance of danger and 1%. And that's a fact. Think of it now. Think about if someone went, right, you've got to run down this road, but there's a 1% chance you're going to get shot. Something like that, something brutal. Like inside you, you'll feel that, like, okay, if you really put yourself in that situation, you'll feel that, okay, I don't really want to do that. You'll feel the same amount of, I don't want to do that as when you're told it's 99%. Now, I know logically you can figure it out, and the stat more applies to when someone tells you like it's a 70% chance versus a 1%. But we fear the same amount. I think I need to make you host again because you did a fucking mute. Wait, does that work?
Yeah, it works.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, that's something I remind myself of because it's often just your brain making you think the failure is bigger than it is, but it isn't as big as you think. It's just your brain responding to a small amount of failure, thinking it's a big amount of failure because essentially that's how we got here by thinking, oh my God, I think I hear a lion versus, oh my God, there is a lion. We had the same response. We got out of there. So we have the same response to failures nowadays.
Exactly. I like that. It was a good analogy. It reminded me of two. One is the only prison you are in is the one you think you're in. So think you're in a prison, you'll be in a prison. Think you're gonna fail, or even think there's a chance, then that's you just have to focus on one thing. And that's linked
Yeah.
to another analogy. There's two lions. I chose lions today, not wolves. There's two lions, one in the light, one in the dark. Which one survives? The one you feed. And you can't stand there trying to feed both. It's not gonna work. You need to feed one. And if you feed the positive, the light, then that is gonna be what thrives. That's gonna be what survives. Like I was saying, if you focus on the positive and thinking like that, and viewing the setback as something positive and not negative, then you're gonna be able to move forward. So
Yeah.
I think a final point is be grateful. Be grateful to even be able to experience setbacks and be able to, it's almost a privilege and a grace that you're able to do these things. So a
Yeah.
lot of people don't even get the thoughts or the ambition to push themselves to maybe set up a business or start trading. Most people just go about life and just do the easy route. There's a lot of people who don't even get the opportunity to do the easy route. So just be
Yeah.
grateful that you're able to sit here and learn and feel the way you do, and challenge yourself to think positively. So
Yeah, and that's very real. And even beyond just people not taking the opportunity, you should be grateful, like Tom said, to being someone that takes the opportunity. There are genuinely lots of people out there that don't even have the option to take the opportunity. I don't mean that excuse wise, but like people watching this, I assume you're in a kind of place where you have the opportunity to do this. Maybe life's difficult or whatever, but there are genuinely people out there living in horrible places, in horrible circumstances who don't get this opportunity. So think about how lucky you are to be able to blow funded accounts, be able to fail evaluation phases, be able to lose money because you fell for a scam. Obviously, it's not nice falling for scams and stuff, but like you're in a position where you can learn from that. A lot of people never get that opportunity. So, really do take it by the hands and understand that you've got to take them with gratitude and learning from them so that you can grow as a person. But yeah, I think that about sums up the call.
I thought of one very last way to end it, and it's a very nice way. It's not an analogy. It's just something I heard and said, and it
Go
comes
on.
to dreams and obviously on. Okay, so you start investing in Bitcoin because what do you see? You see the high. You see Bitcoin being at, I don't know, 200K. So you're down here, let's just say you're in at 80K. And you're thinking, damn, getting to 200K, that means I'll whatever X my money, that'd be crazy. So you have that dream, that vision. Now, I have to look at it is if you had seen the journey or could see the journey you'd have to go on to get 200K in Bitcoin. So let's say you want to become a multi-millionaire day trader who has his own personal account and just makes hundreds of thousands in trade. If you have that dream, that vision, do you think if you were shown every single step of the way to get there, maybe not you specifically, because I know very very easy to say yes, but do you reckon if you knew the path it would take to get there, do you reckon you'd still walk it? The likelihood is no, because you'd see how hard and how brutal it is. You'd see all the other ways it could be done. So you're shown visions, you're shown these dreams because you know it's possible and your mind knows it's possible. If you believe in God, God is showing it you because you can do it. And He's not going to show you the path. You have to walk it and figure it out on your way there. You have to experience setbacks. You have to experience all these things because you have to understand that they are a part of it. You know when they're going to come. They're going to be unexpected half the time, but they are a price you pay for that dream. And ultimately, you're going to have a lot of setbacks and friction on your way to achieving that, most likely. So that was the last thing I wanted to say is
Yeah,
understand that you have this dream for a reason, you have this vision of whatever it is you want to achieve, and understand that you don't know how you're gonna get there, but there's gonna be things in your way. So
yeah, that's spot on. And there's one last thing I'd want to say, and that's goodbye.